Well, it's a wet and rainy day, and one of my favourite ways to pass a wet and rainy day, of course, is to play Scrabble. I love the game of Scrabble. So here we are. We've started off our Scrabble game right smack bang in the middle. We've got word and problems written down. The challenge here is to make mathematical words. So here comes our first one. Only a little one, that one. Sum. Not the greatest word, but when we think sum, we think add, we think we plus, we think more, we think increase, those sorts of words. Here comes the next move, the next round, next person. Less, yes, good word, but maybe subtract would be another word, or take away or minus would have been another word they could have used as well. Get some more points there. Anyway, moving on, next go. Here it comes. It's a big one. Great word, look at that. Product times multiplication. Double is a product by 2, triple product by 3. Moving on, next move. Oh no, they've seen the U, they've bring in the Q, always a good move. What could they be going for here? Quat? No, of course, quotient. Now we're starting to talk about, we're talking about the answer to a division, we're talking about sharing, we're talking about a quotient. Right, we're getting there. Next move, next go. Not sure this is totally legal, this one. Tiv. Oh, they've pulled out the blank. But they've gone off the board. They've gone right off the board, but they've gone consecutive. Consecutive means one after the other. That brings to mind another word that we might have to use here. Once again, heading for the triple score. Again off the board. Odd. Consecutive odd numbers. Odd numbers from our algebra we know can be written as 2n plus 1. Next person's go. They're looking for the spot. They've found it now. They've gone the double word score. Always excellent thing to do. Even. Even numbers algebraically can be written as 2n. Okay, let's take our new word knowledge and let's apply it to some equation solving. So what we want to do here is we want to solve equations that are given in words. So we want to actually take the words, rewrite it as an equation, and then solve it. So the first thing we want to do is look for things like the sum of 3 times a certain number. Now our certain number is going to be what we use our pronoun to represent. So I'm going to say let x be the number. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at these keywords. The sum of 3 times a certain number and 4 is divided by 2. So that would be the sum of 3x. So 3 times x, 3x. And 4 is the sum is divided by 2. So I'm going to put it over 2 and gives a result of 5. So now I've managed to take this and make it as a written equation. I'll now just go ahead and use our inverse operations to solve the equation. I want to get rid of this divided by 2, I'll times by 2 on both sides. 3x plus 4 is equal to 10. I'll then subtract the 4. 3x is equal to 6. That'll give me 3x equals 6, divide by 3, divide by 3, x equals 2. Okay. So the skill here is not an equation solving, we've already mastered that skill. The skill is to take this written sentence and to make it into an equation and then solve it. So 27 less than the product of a number and 6 is equal to the quotient of the number and 2. So the product of a number and 6, quotient of a number and 2, 27 less than. So we need to be careful. We need to let x be the number. And I guess the thing to be careful of here, a couple of things. We've already met these words product and quotient. Product of a number and 6 would be 6 lots of x. 27 less than that would be to take the 27 away from the 6x is equal to the quotient of the number and 2. Quotient is a division. In algebra, we write division as a fraction. And again, it will go ahead and solve that. We'll use our inverse operations. I'm going to times by 2 first. I want to get rid of this fraction. First thing I want to do. So 12x minus 54 is equal to x. This one's a bit unusual. I'll subtract x from both sides because it's the smallest x. 11x minus 54. Be careful here, don't lose the 0. add the 54. 11x is equal to 54. Final step, divide by 11. Gives me my solution. X is equal to 4 and 10 11ths. Alright, continuing on then. Example 3, sum of two consecutive odd numbers. So there's a word consecutive, meaning following each other. Odd numbers. So if we talk about odd numbers, we know that our odd numbers are going to be in the form 2n plus 1. And the consecutive one is going to be the one that follows it by another 2. So it's going to be 2n plus 3. So if this is one odd number, the next odd number is too large than it, 2n plus 3. The sum of two consecutive odd numbers is 204. So we're saying let those be the numbers. Now let's add them together because it says the sum. So we want to go 2n plus 1 plus 2n plus 3 must equal 204. Okay, it says find the odd numbers. So we're going to solve this by first. This is all on the same side. I'll simplify it down. I've got 4n plus 4 equals 204. A nice simple equation to solve using our inverse operations and getting our n is equal to 50. But that's not the question. The question doesn't ask me to find n, it asks me to find the odd numbers. And the odd numbers are 2n plus 1 and 2n plus 3. So the odd numbers are double this plus 1. So 2n plus 1 is 101. And then 2n plus 3, the consecutive one, 103. Okay, finally on to the last example, more of a problem. A car rental company charges $50 per day plus $1.20 per kilometre, while its competition charges $40 per day plus $1.35 per kilometre. A car is rented for 5 days. How far can the driver travel? So the cost from either company is the same. So what we're going to do is set up a little bit of an equation here, and the unknown is what we have to work out. What is it we're trying to find? What is it that's unknown? And it's talking about how far the driver can travel. So it's talking about the distance. So we'll let a pronumeral, let x be the distance. And so now we're going to set up this little equation. The first one charges $50 per day plus $1.20. So $50 per day plus $1.20 per kilometre. So $1.20 for every kilometre. But it's rented for 5 days. So I'm going to have to multiply that 5 lots of the 50 there. And the other one charges $40 per day. So again, I know I'm going to have to go 5 times the 40 plus $1.35 per kilometre. Now, I want the cost from either company the same. So that's the cost from company A, the cost from company B. I want them to be the same. So I have 250 plus 1.2x is equal to 200 plus 1.35x. And that's probably the hardest part in this question, setting up the equation. Here we just solve it. Again, we bring our pronumerals even to the same side. So we get 250 is equal to 200 plus 0.15x. We then subtract the 200. 50 is equal to 0.15x. And then finally, we divide by the 0.15. Running out of room. Divide by that. And that'll give me as my answer, x is equal to 333 when you round it off.